right, so say you want to do some streaming from your desktop. Maybe it's just to fancy up your Zoom calls, or you've got like a live YouTube channel where you do some gaming, you want to do some teaching and some training because you're recording lessons for students or things like that. Whatever it is, if you want to record video or stream video from your desktop, how can you best do that? Well, that is actually one of the primary use cases for the OBSBOT Tail Air. I've got a full review of that also on my channel, so check that out. But today I'm going to show you a couple of different ways where you can use the Tail Air as a desktop streaming solution quite simply and easily, both using just the camera itself, or involving something like my ATM Mini back there that you see on my desk. All right, so let me show you how that would work. All right, to get us started, we're going to do the simplest thing possible, which is we're going to skip the Mini for now, and we're just going to take a USB-C out of the camera straight into the computer itself. Now, this has been set up, and it's on my network, and it is connected to my phone. So when I open up the app, flip it around here, there you go. You can see that it shows up and it's warning me there's no SD card, which is fine because I'm not going to record to it anyway, I'm just streaming from it. But there are a couple things we need to do, which is this has multiple outputs available to it. It can output on NDI, it can output on HDMI, or it can output over its USB interface. And you have to tell it which one you want it to use. All right, so we come into here, the three dots at the bottom, and then we can see output. UVC mode, that's the one you're interested in. That's the one that will send it out through the USB. So if we turn that one on, and red is on, by the way, it's going to give us a warning that enabling that will turn off NDI recording, live streaming, HDMI, and basically everything else. So if you put it in this mode, then the video signal will go out through the USB to your computer, but you won't be able to do anything else, so that you can't record it on the camera, you can't send it out through NDI or anything else either. Just one of those small limitations. This has a lot of flexibility, but is kind of a unitasker in a way. It does one thing at a time. So we're coming in here and hitting UVC mode. If you connect this to your computer and it doesn't show up, meaning it doesn't show up as a video source in Zoom or something you can use, chances are this is what you need to come flip. You will need to flip UVC mode on, and again, red is on. All right, so now if we come over here and look at our OBS, so OBS works similar to Zoom or anything else, but if you're doing live streaming, chances are you're using OBS or one of its different variants. So we come in here, we're gonna hit a plus. We're gonna call it a video capture device because that's what it is. OBS, OBSBOT. We're gonna say that's okay. And they're going to say, which one do you want to use? So I'm going to come down here, and there it is, my OBSBOT Tail Air Cam. And there you go, you can see me. Hey, look at that. Woo! And then we're going to hit OK. And now the OBSBOT will show up as a source in my OBS. And it is, quite frankly, just that simple. So if you want just basic video, you can use that. Now I can still use this app here to do all of my AI auto tracking if I want to, and we'll do that in a minute. But the other way to do that is if, say, you have multiple video sources you're trying to control, because you're doing a little more advanced live streaming and you want to use something like that guy right there, my ATM Mini. Let me show you how you would set that up. All right, so what I've done, all I think I've done is replaced the USB out that was originally going to my computer, which was also providing power to this, by the way, so now I'm on battery power, and replaced it with this HDMI out. There's a micro HDMI out here on the side, and then there is an HDMI input on the back of my ATM Mini, a HDMI input 1. Now, we are going to need to come into here, and we are going to have to change where this can send output. Because if you remember, when we turned the UVC mode on, it said it was turning HDMI off. So what we want to do is we want to turn that off. which turns everything else is still off too. So there's no NDI, no nothing. And we are just getting now the HDMI out. Now, if we look at my OBS setup, you can see the ATEM Mini is selected, and currently it is showing the input from input 4, which is the desktop of my computer. But if we go over to number 1, which is the camera, we'll see, look at that. Suddenly, once again, we've got the camera. Yay! So this is running HDMI out through the OBSBOT into my ATEM Mini, who is then acting as the switcher and then bringing it into OBS. And it is just that straightforward. All right, so now that we have it connected to our computer, let's talk about camera placement and how we might want to do that best. All right, so for this test, you can see I've got the UVC turned back on, so everything else is turned off. I've got it hooked up to my computer, which is what is recording the video off of this thing right now. And then next to me on the table, I've got the app open as sort of a second screen so that I can see what's going on with the camera, and then I can also control any of the features of the camera right here while still having my desktop to work with, say if I had a presentation I was showing or something that. So the natural thing to do would be to be looking this way while I'm talking about whatever I'm talking about, which gives you that wonderfully coveted like up the nose shot with the camera. So this particular camera placement is probably not going to be the best thing for me. Now it is nice, as you can see, the AI is following me around my desk. If I happen to like get up or move or get closer or, you know, whatever I want to do, like that's handy, but we probably want to get it up a little bit. And this is as simple as just attaching a tripod on the bottom. So let's just do that real quick. All right, so now you can see I've got my camera set up on this very basic tripod. It's about halfway up my monitor. I am losing a little bit of monitor real estate with the camera in front of it, as you can see. But as long as you're only talking into a window of a presentation, you know, or whatever, not such a big deal. You can also easily scoot this off to the side if you don't mind a little bit more of a side shot than a directly at the camera shot. But if you want something that feels a little bit more natural, where you're a little bit more able to look at the camera easier, you know, you can scooch it in a little bit. The big deal is that the camera is about right at or slightly below my eye level, which is actually very comfortable places for human beings. That is a eye line we are used to with your cameras that are like on top of your monitors. That tends to have a looking down look, which is a little unnatural, or if it's all the way on the desktop, it's kind of the, again, up the nose shot. That doesn't look all that great either. This actually works really fantastically. So that is really about it. A couple of different ways you can connect your OBSBOT Tail Air to your computer for desktop streaming. Again, the one nice thing about the Tail Air that not the previous generations of OBSBOTs had, they did not have the HDMI out. OBSBOT will sell you a converter for the USB out to become an HDMI out that you can then put into your you know, ATEM Mini or whatever else that you have. But if you get the Tail Air, just know that it comes with all of those things at the same time. You can do USB out, you can do HDMI out, or you can do NDI out. You just can only do one at a time, which is a small limitation, but is probably not any big deal for any normal users out there. All right, so I'm going to have a couple more videos going with some additional options for how you might use this more in a presentation environment instead of a desktop environment. But if you do plan to use it for desktop use, it is a good tool for that. All right, well, thank you for joining me, and until I see you again, have a great day.